Welcome back to D.R.I.V.E.N TV, continuing our conversation with the power of art. And today we continue a very, very special show as we honor the life of our fellow community member and our brother, our loved and lost soldier, Mohini D.R.I.V.E.N, also known to our community as Moya. With me at this time, I am going to introduce two very special friends and comrades as well. Kimberly Bowman, as we all know, also the exquisite one. And we have Regina Duggins, aka Gina Mocha. She is joining us, they both are joining us to share in Mohini D.R.I.V.E.N's story, a very special and bright light in our community. He was unfortunately taken from us way too early, but his work and his legacy will continue to live on and be honored. So we want to talk today about this wonderful connection that he has with us. Kimberly, tell me about your connection with Mohini.
Well, I met Mohini before he was Mohini and he was just Moya. One of my best friends that she lives in Philadelphia right now, but she introduced me to him. I met him when I'm assuming when he first got to Charleston, and well, I think after school and things like that. And he was a part of the Baha'i community, and I knew a lot of people that were involved with that, including my best friend. And so I kind of met him through there. And I just thought he was really weird when I first met him because I was like, who is this black man that's always smiling? Like, he just always just seemed to never be having a bad day. He just always seemed to be very happy just about anything. Like, and it was weird to me because I was like, I was young at the time, so I was like, what are you so happy about? What is there to smile about? You know, and I thought he was like the sweetest person in the world. And I never heard him yell, saw him get angry or anything like that. He just always seemed to have this very pleasant, well nature about him. And then I know shortly, when I first started my business, I know he was really looking into getting involved in the community, and he wanted to work together, and we didn't quite get together the way that we wanted to, but you know, I was always very supportive of him, and every time he would see me, he would come and hug me, and he's like, it's so good to see you. And he's had these warm hugs that I thought was weird too. I was like, are you like just walking sunshine? Like, it's just so weird. But I mean, it was always good to see him, and he was always very pleasant. And you know, I could tell even in the beginning before he got involved with Black Lives Matter, and he was just somebody that just wanted to help in the community, how genuine he was and how positive he was. And you know, like, people always say, like, you know, there's nothing here in Charleston, you know, there's nothing good in Charleston, but I feel like he was that good that was in Charleston. I really feel like he was that piece of sunshine, and he saw the good in Charleston. He saw the potential in people, and he was the one that knew, like, things can get better, things can change, you know, things can improve, you know. So
yes, and I agree. He definitely is somebody who was very passionate. And you know, a lot of people see him as the Black Lives Matter, but there was more to him. He was always Moya. He was always Mohini, even before Black Lives Matter. He just wanted to help, and he was genuine. You're right, I haven't heard him yell, and he always had this instant connection and influence over people. He was one of the only ones where my daughter, when she wanted to play shy, he could get to drum in the middle of a field and, you know, show her wilderness side and let it all go. And I remember even when I met him, there was one question that I used to always, you know, have in the back of my mind, and that drove me a little crazy about him, because my daughter would ask a question, and that was, where are your shoes? And as soon as he would come around, my daughter would go, Mommy, can I take my shoes off? And I was, no, baby, why do you need to take your shoes off? I didn't understand. I didn't get his connection to the earth. I didn't understand. And then, you know, he introduced me to the Baha'i faith, and I was very confused at first, but just the light and the positive energy that just radiated off of him, it opened me up to so much more. And I just appreciated him. My daughter and him were very, very close. I mean, so close to the point where even on the day of, my daughter asked to play drums with him, and we hadn't seen him in a little while. And it's just a beautiful spirit. How about you, Gina? Did you have any of those barefoot moments with D.R.I.V.E.N, the AKA wilderness, drumming, flute playing, dread guy?
Well, the time meeting him, it was just like at Sanders Clyde had a after school program, and he was coming for a PTA meeting. So I got to see him in the full activist mode, which was great because I'm passionate about just all students learning, and that's what he was strong on in the PTA meeting. And he was challenging parents to step up and be that strong asset that they are in their kids' lives. So I was just impressed by him. So at the end of the meeting, I came over to him, and him and I shared a few, we was conversing, and he was just like, I'm gonna see you around, sis, He's like, don't worry, we're not fighting this battle alone.
Right.
So the next time I saw him, he was drumming, and then there was another time, but the last time was the screening of Detroit. So at the end, he had Q&As, and we shared that moment and the tragedies that was happening in the movie, and he was like, you know what? He said, every time I hear about you or see you, it's in a positive light. He's like, we definitely got to do some work together, he said, and he said, we're going to keep on lifting up Charleston. And I said, even though I'm not a native born here, a Charlestonian, but I said, we're black. That culture and that will and that drive for us to do better is just in us. And he was like, yes. And he kept saying, right on, sister, right on, sister. And I said, he said, we'll meet again, we'll meet again. And so when I heard about this tragedy, all it did was inspire me to keep on moving forward. Like, I've always idolized Martin Luther King and his I Have a Dream and what he meant to the community and bringing all diversities. He just wanted us to love each other and be together and grow. And I just feel like that's my mission now. And losing, Moya, but having a rising angel, I call them, is going to help us get through this and weather this storm.
Absolutely.
I definitely agree. I was definitely very upset, very, angry, that, and I didn't believe it at first until, you go on social media, and I first saw the post, and I was like, oh my God, like what is going on? And I was seeing people talking about it more and more and more, and it just broke my heart. But at the same time, after you shed those tears and you have that moment, it kind of made me feel like angry, but also like I felt all this wave of passion came over me, and the things that I'm very passionate about in the community, and things that I want to do, it just fueled that even more, because I always admired how he gave his life to everything. It's like he didn't care. It's just like he cared, but it's just like he didn't care about himself. He cared about the people.
Absolutely.
And he cared about building relationships, and he cared about making a difference, and getting people to wake up and realize things. And he was always just a very positive person. So I feel like some of his spirit kind of like crept up in me, and now I'm like fueled, and now I'm like,
let's
I want to do some stuff. Like
That was that infectious smile.
Yeah, that was it was the infectious smile.
That infectious smile and those bare feet. I'm telling you, and that flute.
And I'll never forget, like I used to always, and I was living in West Ashley, and I didn't know he lived like not far from where I lived at. And I would always see him walking. And I'd be driving, going to the gas station, go get some snacks and all that. And I would see him, and it would be hot. And I'm like, dude, get in the car. And he's like, no, sister, I'm gonna. He was like, I live right there. I'm gonna just walk. And the whole time just smiling. And I said, like, get in the car. Like, I don't care if you live right there, if you live over here. Like, get in the car. Like, but he was a very selfless person. And I could always appreciate that about him and love that about him. And it frustrated me at times, but
And I think that's something, he just had an infectious personality and love. True love. Even if he had just met you, he loved you. And it was genuine.
Even if he didn't know you.
He loved you. Even if you did wrong to him, he still loved you in spite of it and just wanted to help you sort through your mess. Right. And, there's good and bad things about that, because there are people that appreciate it and there are people that play off of it as well and try to take advantage of that. And he knew that, but his heart was still, I am fighting for the people, and I will continue no matter what. And for those who don't know, because I know we've been talking this whole time, but Mohini, who was only 32 years old, on Monday was in Louisiana, where he was gunned down. And unfortunately, he never made it back home. But we know that although it was early, to us, you know, we never know what God's design really or his plan is, but it does touch the lives of other people, and it just shows you people all over. It isn't just in Charleston. He's traveled around. The love and passion that he shared with others everywhere that he went is being reflected in the media and social media. And even though there are going to be some people that try to attack his character, we know the truth. And that's what the purpose of today is, to share the truth and share what we have experienced and what we know of him. You know, there's even, I noticed in the media, they pointed out his arrest. It's interesting because the arrests were for the people. He was arrested for standing up and protecting others.
Use a mugshot.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and as a way to be able to further attack your character. And it just shows, it just shows how people didn't really know him.
Exactly.
But the media is going to do what they need to do.
They're going to try to play on that negative stuff. But the interesting is, even in his mugshot, you know, he still had this calming aura about him.
Even at the bond hearing, and he was just like, and I'm sitting there like,
and you know, he's the one thing that he always does, that little bow. And you know, he did it so much that even my daughter picked it up. If she apologizes to me for anything, Ariel, I apologize, Mommy. And I'm like, you know what? You are him. He's been around you too much. You're going to walk around here barefoot, and you're going to be going around talking to people. But you know, it was something I appreciated. I thank God that my daughter had the opportunity to experience that the children that he dealt with, that he drummed with, that he spoke to, they experienced that. I mean, in my neighborhood, well, we were actually visiting a neighborhood, and we walked around in downtown Charleston just talking to people, and we canvassed one area, and we were talking to 12-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 5-year-olds, and a lot of our young men were sharing some, experiences with them and telling them that they basically didn't feel like they were even going to live past tomorrow. They had no future, and he stood there, he listened to them. I think that was one thing, is he was a true active listener. He didn't just, oh, okay, yeah, and cut you. He listened to you. And as he did, he shared and he planted seeds to let them know this isn't the end all be all, brother. There's more to you than this story that they're painting for you. So continue to love yourself. And if you don't love you, I love you. And that was something I feel like he left with everyone. And I appreciate it. And earlier I showed a video, Prince I Heard, and he shared an experience about someone else being gunned down. And it's interesting that now that's his story at this time, but it's not just his story. This may have been how it was taken from this earth, but that's not all there is to me. There's so much I'm leaving behind. There's so much to continue through you and through what I've given. So I encourage us to continue to remember all the good that he shared with us, to continue to share his story with our children, to continue to ask questions and look for answers, and continue to create your own story. So definitely, and there's a picture that we showed earlier with a group of people. It just shows you the devotion he had, even when he was in a room full of people. And I don't care if there was sun beaming, he had this light that radiated where you could pick him out from any crowd. And that was with us. We were at a Tech Up Step Up area where we had exchange of information between our youth and our elders, and he made sure that our youth and our elders equally shared. And it was just powerful, and it's actually up now on our screen. And he is there with his fist in the air, still calm, because one thing is, even though he was in the spotlight, he didn't really care for the spotlight. He just cared about the work and the seeds that were being planted, and we love him for that. And I appreciate you guys coming here and joining us. I appreciate Ms. Regina Mujahid for sharing with us and joining us and share how you feel and giving your heart here. Because I know right now things are so fresh, it's tough, and we're hurting. But you know what? He wants us not to mourn, but to celebrate. We want us to support the family, and not just today, not just this week, but even further on, past just this moment. So, I just, our hearts go out to the family as well, and the ways that we can pray for you, celebrate you, help you, even after funerals and things of that nature, to continue his story and to help you any way that we can. That's what we're here for. And to close out today, I just want to share with you some of the last things. He helped me with quite a few things, including a Stop the Bleeding, Start the Healing campaign, and I think that's something very important. And here's a message that I think Mohini would like for us to hear. Thank you for joining D.R.I.V.E.N TV. Follow us on Facebook, togetherweshall.com. And for any more information or questions or pictures, you can also see us on Facebook. We're going to continue to share Mohini, aka Moya's legacy, his light, and his journey. Thank you.
And we all continue to hear. It's time to stop the bleeding and start the healing. On 3, say we heard. 1, 2, 3.
We heard.
Ashe.
Was it